Y'all, I am back with this here banger. I'm here to talk to y'all about the long-awaited pregnancy story slash birth story. A lot of people have been wanting to actually sit down and talk to me about this with me in depth, because every time that the topic comes up, I don't really have time to go all into details as people want me to do. So I'm gonna do my best to do that now in this video. And there's gonna be background noise. I have this fan on, baby boy sleeping, and there's also the street behind my home, so yeah, excuse all of that and just try to focus on my voice as best as you can. So let's get right into it. I wrote down some questions, like pretty much like a guideline to this video, because I don't want to get all over the place, even though I feel like naturally I am as I start remembering stuff, as I start talking about it. But anyways, so pregnancy. If you do the math, you will know that I was pregnant around August/end of July of 2021. I had obvious symptoms of pregnancy. I was fatigued, I was having hot flashes, like I literally could not stand to wear clothes, and it was already summer on top of that, so you can imagine. I had nausea, I had like these crazy cravings, like I had PB&J cravings, coconut milkshake cravings, stuff like that. I took a pregnancy test one time in the beginning and it came out negative. I think it was too early, like the HCG levels, I want to say it was what it's called, in my P were too low at that point, but I was pregnant. It didn't come out positive until August, where I took another one. I think I was like 10 days late on my period, and I decided to take a pregnancy test again. And that time around it came out positive, and even though like I knew it, it was just still crazy to see on the stick, like, oh shit, like it's positive. And yeah, so that's that. Right off the bat, I knew I didn't want to get involved with hospitals or no legal shit, so only option for me was, no question about it, home birth. The only thing that I was kind of like in between was whether or not I should get a midwife. All in all, with that subject, I got to the point where we actually did find somebody, but the day before my ritual appointment actually was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go through with this, like, and I practically canceled like my shit with them, so I never had a midwife. The only person I did have was my mom, and we'll get into that in further detail later on. Pregnancy was a beautiful experience. Like, I really loved it, despite like I stopped working out after a little bit. I stopped routinely working out. I was working out because I had stairs in my home, and every time I was going up and down them, like shit, that's a workout. And walking, you know. But as far as like my typical workout routines, like the squats I would do, ab workouts, like cardio, whatever, like in the ways that I would do it before pregnancy, I stopped doing it after a while, because I got like an increase of pressure in my pelvis at a certain point. So it was just whenever I felt like it. Prior to pregnancy, I was weighing like 119. I didn't go up too much. Like, first of all, my stomach was not big during pregnancy. Like many of y'all know, I had a little baby bump, but I went up like 2 pounds in the beginning months of pregnancy. I was in between 120 and 122, so I went up a few pounds, and then at the end of pregnancy is when I went up. It like spiked up. Obviously, as the baby started gaining weight, my belly got significantly bigger. Like, it was not just a little bump no more. Like, that shit got like and yeah, so I was like around 130. So that's the little backstory. I want to actually touch up on the one thing that I would have done differently, or that I will do differently the next time around, is create a paper trail for myself, because I didn't do the research that I should have done in regards to like Puerto Rico laws. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of assumed with the stuff that I looked up, because I did do my research, it just wasn't in detail research, and it wasn't the best, because honestly I was feeling so fucking lazy. I didn't give it the importance that I should have at the time. So yeah, I figured I'll get to this shit once I gotta cross that bridge. So yeah, but nonetheless, it is what it is, and I learned along the way. So for next time, let's see. So my due date was April 28th. I was using a couple of apps to keep track of my pregnancy. It's the Bump app, and I was using Period Tracker 2 prior to pregnancy to keep track of my period, and then like during, like I would take little notes on the app. about like how I was feeling in my pregnancy and all of that stuff, and keeping track of like the fetal, the fetal development and all of that cute stuff. So I knew that I was due April 28th, 2022, but as we all know, that shit is an illusion. Like, you cannot predict when your baby's gonna be born. Like, you can, but this boy came out at 42 weeks, and a lot of people, like, they don't know that it's normal for babies to come out at 42, so they start panicking. It's like mad normal. Like, it's gonna come out when it needs to. Like, you don't have to worry about it doing all that extra shit. Like, your baby is safe inside of you. Like, that's the safest place it can be at that point. We're tricked into, like, we get told that we have to induce the labor and, force the baby out, and that's never, it's not good for you or for your baby. So I had to just remind myself, like, he's gonna come when he needs to come, because despite me telling you this now, at the time, there was a sense of impatience within me, because I had in the back of my head, like, he's supposed to be due April 28th, he hasn't come, like, what in the world? I was really impatient. But at a certain point, I was just like, bump it. Like, it's nothing I can do about it. Like, I did all the fun shit. Like, let's see if it'll work. Even though, like, I know damn well it was like, it's in the baby's hand, God's hands, But I tried the spicy foods, I did the exercises, yada yada, nothing. So he's gonna come when he's gonna come. Fast forward to May 9th. That was such a great day. Like, I walked mad long that day. Like, I was visiting some family, and me and my mom went on a long walk, and I noticed my feet were like swollen. I was like, oh, this is real different. I need to, prop them up when I get home. So I wasn't thinking too much into it, but it was just a sign that I was gonna go into labor that day. Like, my body was prepping, like, it was all that pressure. It was a long day being out of the house. I got home, I started, just doing regular shit, like recording music, creating stuff, writing, whatever. And then come nighttime, did my regular stuff, took a shower. It was just a regular day. Big belly, pelvic pressures, like, the only difference was my swollen feet. Laying in bed, I was texting my girl Sienna, and I'm like, girl, I'm getting these fucking contractions, and they feel different. And I'm like, hold up, y'all. These feel like period pains, but also like I gotta take a shit. So every time I got a contraction, and mind you, it's 9:30 at night, so I was getting these contractions, and it was super quiet outside, and it's just me, myself, and I'm like just making sure that I stay centered in that moment to relax into it. Like, I just have to go through them, like literally go through, like I can't back out. So I'm going through these contractions, breathing deeply, praying practically, telling myself, relax, like breathe. And I'm just breathing as I feel them, and I'm just like focusing on all of that pressure that I feel, so as to like not let it slip me, so that I'm not like disassociating, and I'm actually like feeling it, and like I'm there, I'm present in the moment. I was going through all of that labor, texting my girl all throughout, recording myself, and I didn't want to tell my mom until like they started picking up and intensifying. So come 12 o'clock, midnight, they do that. So I go to my mom's room, I'm like damn near like huddled over. I'm like, Ma, I'm in labor, I've been in labor since 9:30, and I'm like happy, I got a smile on my face, because I'm like, it's really happening. She wakes up from her sleep and she's like, oh shit, okay. So she's there for me. Prior to that, I had already set up my little corner where I wanted to give birth at. I didn't set up much for myself. Like, I didn't think thoroughly, like, okay, I'm gonna need to be comfortable. I was just like, something to catch the blood, something to catch all the liquids that is gonna come out of me. So I put a blanket. My mom came by, she added more blankets. She made it an actual nest for me. So I'm grateful for that, for her presence, because my mom being there and showing up for me in the way that she did, like, she was, filling in the gaps where I couldn't fill them in for myself, because I was so in that moment, just feeling all the sensations. So she was my brain in that moment, and my right hand, for real. So I'm grateful. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, so she was getting me water, dog's pads. They're actually dog training, like pee-pee pads, if you will. And yeah, so I'm mad tired, by the way. It's nighttime. It has been a long day. It's been a long day, but like nighttime has been coming around really quick recently, so I'm just a little sleepy right now. But I feel like I'm getting everything out more smoothly than I had before. I've already tried to record this video like twice, y'all. 3 times actually. Twice on one day and then once once today. I had to like do those trial and error runs because I felt like I kept missing out on certain shit that I wanted to talk about in the dress. So now I'm here. After I had called my mom in her room, I was having diarrhea. I had the bloody show, so I was bleeding just a little bit. It's not like crazy. It was actually when I saw the blood that I went into my mom's room after. So whatever, that was a little bit all over the place. I was in and out of the bathroom, contracting. Like when they got really intense, that's when I started like having to take a shit. The contractions on the toilet were so uncomfortable, dude. Like they were starting to pick up too. At that point, I knew it was go time. It was like 1 in the morning. Yeah, let me just add this in real quick. Because I was so in my zone, I really could not deal with like external noises. My mom talking on the phone at one point was just like shh, like every time I would hear her talk, because it was just too much for me. Like the pressure and then that other noise on top of it, it was just like way too much. So she was understanding about that. Anyways, again, all over the place. Around 1:20 something, my mom had told me that she texted my aunt, and that's when like I was on the floor already in my little nest corner. The baby's dad was actually, he was on the phone. He got to see me live through all of that. I was contracting mad intensely, actually, to the point where I had to like bite my bed because of how much it was. That sounds crazy, but like literally, like that's how much pressure it was.
I was there to assist, you know, as much as I could. I rubbed her lower back.
Yes.
I
really helpful.
Emitted Reiki energy. Just
Yes.
said Reiki goes where Reiki is needed.
My screams were like so loud. There was like this voice in my head that was like, girl, you about to wake up the whole neighborhood. Like, and I kept thinking like, I wonder what the neighbors are thinking. But I was like, you know what? Come back to the moment and just like focus on myself. Like that's extra shit. Like I can't give my energy to that right now. I had to get some water because my voice is. So as I was pushing, right, I was biting the bed, squeezing my blankets. By the third push, I felt the baby's head. Mind you, these pushes were like huge. Like I had like a total of 5 or 4 pushes. I would say 3, but I feel like y'all would think I'm being like, y'all would think I'm feeling myself too hard, but no, but like for real. By 1:48, the baby was out. So anyways, let me backtrack a little bit. The third push, I was having thoughts of, holy shit, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm done. Like I'm tired, and this shit hurts, and it's a lot. I was praying, you know, and I was like, you know what? The only way out is through. Like I can't do Kegels to put the baby back in there. Like he has to come out. So I just surrendered, and that was when I was feeling the ring of fire, like the typical ring of fire that everyone talks about. Like I felt that shit, and it really is like your body feels, what's that, your vagina and your butt, like that shit feels like big. It feels big, dude. Like I didn't even want to touch down there because I'm like, I know that shit feels crazy. Like I know that shit is looking crazy out there. I was like, dude, I swear to God, like I was like, bro, I swear I'm gonna rip it in half right now. Like, and that's why I felt like backing out, because I was, a little fear came in me, and I'm like, I'm about to like tear. And God, I didn't though. So that last push I did, boop, he fucking like zoomed out. My mom said she heard like a pop and like a gush of water. My water broke as he was coming out. I caught him. It was swift. Like, I was on my knees giving birth. Like, I was like on the edge of the bed. I was knelt down on one knee, and the other one was like, you know, at a 90-degree angle. I grabbed him under my leg, so I had to like lift my leg over, and it was too much because my pelvis she was going through it. So yeah, that was that. That was that. What else did I write? I actually had like, you see how my setup is right now? It was pretty much like this, like the same ambiance with this light in front of me on, and this one was set to like a purple light. Y'all will see it in the pictures. I'm sure you already saw it in the pictures. I needed that mood lighting like that because the bright lights was too much for me. But after the baby came out, I didn't do the typical like weighing him. We did measure him. She said he was like 19 and a half inches. So the lotus birth. So a lotus birth, if you don't know, is when you preserve the placenta until after the umbilical cord disconnects from the baby. I preserved the placenta, as you you're supposed to with salt. So I had ordered Himalayan salt from Amazon and some lavender herbs, which is mainly just for like the smell component of it all, because as an organ, you know, you don't want to smell it. I don't want to say rotting, but you don't want to smell it like, you know, after them days of it drying up. So after I gave birth, she was helping me fix my legs up, you know, like to get in like a comfortable position, get the supplies that I needed to preserve the placenta, the salt and the lavender. She helped me get the bowls, filled it up with water. If it really wasn't for my mom, like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm just so grateful that she was there, because it was intense. And I really had no shame in that moment. Usually I'm the type that's like, you know, but she saw it all, dude. 4 days of me having to like carry the bag with the placenta around, it wasn't the funnest, but like I did what I had to do until it came off. And I waddled downstairs with my mom. She helped me to dig a hole, and we buried it, did a little ritual for it, said our thank yous. I'm not even about to hold y'all, I got emotional when I was burying it, because I'm like, oh, this is like, it's like his best friend in the womb. Like, if you think about it, you know, like it was attached to him. It felt really nice to hold him without it for the first time, and it was just like, oh. And yeah, so he's fully breastfed, no formula, no nothing. I don't pump or anything. And the milk that I do collect, I take it myself. Like, I'll put it in a smoothie, or like mix it in pancake mix, or mix it into my teas sometimes. But yeah, overall, listen, all this shit is a mind game. Like, you could do it. Like, it's not crazy. Like, this is actually very, very normal. Like, it's just not normalized. I want to say I'm like the only person that I know that has ever given birth this way. Gotta thank God for that, for using me in this way to really see his majesty and like his works through me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all a learning game for me. Like, I'm just really remembering who the fuck I came to be. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck I am. Shit. Like, God is great. Like, he's great. And by great, I don't mean like he's great. I mean like he's so great. Like, we can't even like comprehend. Like, when I came out and told certain people that I was pregnant, you know, and I was getting knocked for what I was doing and how I was doing it, and people swore they knew better, and it's like, I don't blame them. I don't. I know everybody's playing their role, speaking from their experiences, but that's not my experience, and I didn't come here to live your experience. I came here to live my experience. It was like a big marker in my life. Like, holy shit. Not only did I endure so much through my pregnancy, but then I gave birth at home with no doctors. Like, who the fuck do you know that did that? I had a whole baby this year, dude. I had a whole baby this year. It's just gratitude that I feel, because he's awesome. Like, I prayed for this baby, and I used to be the type that would be like, them kids, but now look at me, a whole mom. You're thinking whether or not I want to show him on my YouTube. I kind of like the whole maintain the mystery thing. That has always actually been like my theme. I'm not a big like out there type of person, but sometimes you really gotta break through them barriers, because you'll realize how, like I've said before, it's a fine line between like what you think is divine guidance versus fears. Y'all will see him when y'all will see him. That's my birth story. I hope I didn't leave nothing out. So thanks y'all for tapping in. If you still have a question, if I left something, if you feel like I left something out, if you feel like I haven't answered your question, comment it down below, so because I'm sure other people will have the same questions as you. Stay blessed, stay up, keep going, keep working internally, keep putting in that work, keep showing up. God will meet you halfway. God killed the impossible. Everything is possible. So that's that. Till next time.